What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now for this video, we're going to be jumping into the Hellfire Gala. It'll be part 4, coming from X-Men issue number 21. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the Hellfire Gala, go ahead and check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. Now, this is written by Jonathan Hickman, and the art is by Russell Dodderman, Nick Dragotta, Sarah Pacello, and Lucas Wernick. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we get into part 4 of the Hellfire Gala, there's really two really important issues that go on in this comic. And outside of that, it's not hugely eventful. Though we do see some very familiar faces in here, they still continue to tease us with the big event that happens. But this issue picks us up at the reception around 8 p.m. and we pick up with Namor. And of course we expected to see Namor here. He's literally king of all the seas, of 70% of the entire planet. And so with all the world's powers being invited, his name definitely made the list. And as he sits here on the balcony having a drink, this is when Xavier and Magneto approach him. And upon coming up to him, they do their pleasantries. They pay the respect to who he is. Because at the end of the day, Namor, he is a very cocky individual. And if you don't refer to him as the royalty as he sees himself as he truly is, you're not going to get his attention. And so Namor, he starts the conversation up. Starts it by asking how the Empire building is going. And Charles starts it off by saying that it's going really well. And that they're making a lot of alignments and they're partnering up with a lot of individuals. And he lets them know, you know, to all the end of this, why don't we talk about an inevitable partnership? A partnership we know that will come eventually. Let's start discussing that. And Magneto, he adds to this by telling him that if it's a question of influence, they could offer him a seat on the Quiet Council. Now Namor being Namor, he tells him, you know, an offer? He could walk into the Quiet Council and people would beg to give up the seat, even if one were not available. Because at the end of the day, like he says, he's a real king. And he tells them to be sure not to forget that. And he continues on and tells Charles, you know, at the end of the day, he dreams of the entire world under his thumb. Him sitting upon the throne with all of humanity, mutant kind, and everybody else under his control, under his reign. And so he tells them, you know, I'm not going to be on some council where people try to see me as their peers. Because at the end of the day, he has domain over 70% of the planet. And in his eyes, they have what? They have a tiny little island. And he tells them both, get back to me when you have something better to offer me. And with that, he takes off. Now, I think this was an absolutely wonderful exchange. And it really does put Charles and Magneto both into their place. Because for a long time, you know, they've been hyping themselves up. They've been thinking themselves to be all that. But at the end of the day, when you're talking to someone like Namor, he sees you as peasants. And there is no way that you could ever be on his playing field. At least not anytime soon. Now, this is what's going to take us to a little bit later on in the evening, taking us to the election. Now this is big. This is something that Cyclops and Jean Grey have been working on for quite some time, because they want to start up the X-Men again. They want to get mutants out there doing what they've been doing, getting them back to their roots. And so Cyclops and Jean Grey, they get everybody's attention. And he lets everybody know that it's that time in the evening to let everybody know and introduce them to the new X-Men. But before they can do that, they have to select them. Now this is where Jean Grey plays her part, and using her powers, she connects to every single mutant on the planet. She asks them to open up their minds, and we see her connect to everybody. Now Thor and Franklin, they're kind of freaking out a little bit. They don't really understand 100% on what's going on. But Doctor Strange, he's kind of tapped into this. He's just listening. And he's telling them that it's nothing to really worry about, because it's a rather elegant telepathic bond. every mutant who wishes is telling the other why they want to be X-Men. And as they do, other mutants are getting behind the ones they believe in. And so all the mutants that want to be X-Men, they put their name in. Mutants all over the planet decide exactly who they want to be representing them. And that's when Jean Grey lets us know that it's done. That the X-Men team has now been selected, and that team, it begins with none other, the one, the only, the amazing Rogue, to be followed by Sunfire, Wolverine, Synch, and Polaris. And with that, Jean Grey gives and presents to the world the new team, the new X-Men. And for the most part, that's really the most riveting things about this issue. Now, it does take us to an hour later at the Exodus. But all of this is going to bring us to the fireworks. And Emma Frost kind of gives us her closing remarks for the night. And she tells everybody that the end is an interesting thing, because sometimes it's just a matter of perspective. What seems to be an ending, it might very well be the beginning for someone else. Or more appropriately, what seems to be the end of an occasion, calling it, quote unquote, a gala, it might be perceived as a proceeding to something new entirely. Kind of like an expansion. And Emma Frost, she lets everybody know that she is going to connect everybody's minds. Every single person, human and mutant alike. Because she wants to offer a very unique view of the show. And she tells everybody that you're more than willing to refuse this if you would like. But she tells them that this is not something that you want to miss. Because this is going to be one of those where were you at moments. And so with that, we see bolts of energy go flying from Emma Frost in all directions, connecting with every single person. And she tells everybody to take a deep breath and to exhale it very softly. With the fireworks and the ending beginning, they are now entering a new age. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like I said, it was relatively uneventful, and I'm really hoping the Hellfire Gala does pick up in the next couple issues. I really didn't want it to be as long as they have it going, and it feels like some of these are going to have to fill some spots. Now, we are going to be covering Excalibur. That will be part 5 of the Hellfire Gala. But so far, each of these comics, each of them connected to the Hellfire Gala, they seem to be kind of going on their own. They're not connected in order of release or anything like that. It's really those lines of comics, those characters that are in those lines, what's happening to them during the Hellfire event. And still, so far, out of all the events that have transpired, Hellions, it's still so far the hands down my favorite one. But it was really awesome to see the new X-Men team picked. And picked in such an awesome and unique way. And huge shout outs to Namor. They've definitely been hyping him up for a long time now. We're going to be seeing him in the MCU here in the near future, so it makes sense that we're going to be talking about him a lot more. It makes sense they're going to be throwing him into the comics a lot more. And I only hope that they can make him on screen half as good, half as cocky, and half as egotistical as he is when it comes to these comics. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.